everyone, and welcome to this week's Yin Yoga class, whose theme will be for swimmers. So come and take a comfortable seat. This can be kneeling, cross-legged, up on a block so that your hips are elevated over the knees. Sit up tall through your spine. Bring the shoulders onto the back body and feel free to close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable with that, just take a soft gaze out on the floor in front of you. So a lot of the body is engaged while swimming. So we're going to be targeting, as a complement to swimming itself, the connective tissues that are associated with it. So we're going to get into the shoulders, the spine, the front and back body. We're even going to take some twists. So even if you're not doing laps in the pool, but you're just hanging out, either with friends or kids or family in the pool, this class is a great complement to that as well. And if you're doing this right after swimming, you still might feel a little bit of that water sensation around your body. Just try to connect that with your breath. The breath being a lot like the rise and fall of waves and water. Bring your palms together in front of your heart space. Let's begin with a nice, slow, deep cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. You can slowly open your eyes if they're closed. And you're going to need some props for today's class, so if you don't have any by your mat, you can always check down in the description box for optional props in Yin Yoga. So you'll need at least 2 blocks for today's class. We're going to begin in supported fish, and that's going to get into the upper spine, into the shoulders, and if you have 2 blocks, you're going to place your first block lengthways towards the long edge of your mat and your first block lengthways to the short edge of your mat, so that when we lie down on our backs, this first block is going to go directly in between the shoulder blades, and the second one is going to be to support your head. Now, if you have a bolster at home or a meditation pillow, I like to use that for the first block. It just makes it a little more comfortable, but either way, it's great. So come and take a seat with your back facing the props, and then just gently lower yourself all the way down, and then resting your head on top of the second block. And you might want to have another block handy. I'm going to give you a couple options as to what you can do with your legs. So you can either keep them straight like I have here, or you can bring them into a butterfly shape with the soles of the feet touching. Or you can even just have your legs crossed, whatever feels great for you. And you might be wondering why I placed this second block up top. I'm going to give the option about halfway through the pose to raise the arms overhead. And just for my body, my palms don't comfortably lower down to the ground, so I like to place the palms on a block. But let's everybody begin with the arms down by the sides. And if you're a swimmer and this is your first Yin Yoga class, it's a practice where we hold passive poses for minutes at a time, staying comfortable in sensation and never chasing look or poses. You really just want the pose to learn your body. So practice compassion for yourself and your own body today. If you wanted to raise your arms overhead, go ahead and do so. And if you had your legs crossed like I do, just switch the cross of your legs. So the other shin is now in front. So big opening all the way into the chest, organs, lungs, shoulders, shoulder girdle. And if you feel you're unable to relax completely, it might be a sign that you've gone too far. So just back it up a little. If your arms are overhead and you start to feel any tingling in your palms or shoulders, just change your position a little bit, or even bring your arms back down by your sides. If your arms were up overhead, just slowly bring them back down by your sides. If your legs were in any kind of bent position, just straighten them and then stretch through your arms and legs. Point through the toes and take a cleansing breath. Maybe flex the toes and then move them around in any way. And when you feel ready to come out, just roll over to one forearm. And you're going to just keep rolling over until you come into a hands and knees position. So we're going to take one more that really gets into the shoulders. From hands and knees, keeping your hips roughly over top of the knees, just walk your palms forward until your chest comes down to the mat. Now, I like to use the meditation pillow. That's completely optional. And then also I like to use my eye pillow to lower the forehead down onto the mat. Just do whatever feels best for you. Take a minute or so just to feel comfortable. Everything's all tucked in neatly and feeling great. I'm going to give you another option from right where you are. If you would like to, you can bring your palms together out in front of you and then bend through the elbows, bringing the thumbs to the base of the neck. This is completely optional though. If your palms were behind your head, just slowly bring the arms back. We've been here for a while, so really just slowly shimmy each arm back up to the forearms. And then sitting back a little. You can move your props off to the side for now. Maybe sit back on your heels for a moment and just feel the echo. And when you feel ready, just slide onto your belly. I'm just gonna close the blinds a little. Slide onto the forearms, onto your tummy. And we're going to take a variation of Sphinx. So you can either stay exactly where you are with the forearms just like this, opening up through the chest, bringing the shoulders onto the back body. If you're feeling a little sensitive in the lower back, you can always walk the arms a little further out in front of you. But if you would like to take a quad stretch and twist, you're going to bring the left fingertips down onto the ground in front of you and then peel open that left shoulder blade and chest while still keeping that hip bone onto the ground. Then you can bend through the left knee, reach back, grab onto the foot, and if it feels a little better, you can bring the right arm into a 45-degree angle. You want to feel sensation, but not going too far that you can't hold it comfortably. And this can be pretty intense, so we're not going to be here for too long. Remember, you can always use your props. So if you need a strap or some sort of support, don't feel ashamed in any way. You are beautiful just the way you are. When you go to release the back foot, gently release it without letting it just fly backwards. And if you're in Sphinx without the stretch, just stay where you are. We'll go to the other side, so bring your left arm at a 45-degree angle, tense your right fingertips, and then peel that shoulder blade open and to the right, and then reach back for the foot, keeping that hip bone down onto the mat. Release the foot. No matter where you were, stack both palms, one on top of the other, lowering the forehead down and then bending through the knees and just letting the feet drop slowly from side to side. Lower the feet and maybe just wiggle the hips a little bit. And then press into the palms, lifting back up into a tabletop pose. Okay. So from here, step your right foot in between the palms and then straighten through the right leg. Now, you can keep your fingertips down on the ground, or we're going to take a twist. So I'm going to bring my block to the outer side of the right leg, placing the right palm on top, and then peeling open and try to keep that right hip plucking down towards the ground. As you twist open, still make sure that you feel that sensation in the back of the right leg as you twist, and then for a second just inhale, raise your arms up, and then bring the left arm behind your lower back. It might be hard to balance, but try to relax. Everything that doesn't need to be working, and relying on your props to create stability so that that good stress can go into the joints and connective tissues. And you can just relax those right toes. They don't need to be flexed. What's more important is that you have stability in the pose. So if you need to move your props around, just go ahead. begin to release that left palm down to the mat. And then very slowly bring the right knee to meet the left. I'm just going to close the curtains all the way now. It wasn't sunny when I first started. Okay, so we'll go to the other side. So step your left foot in between the palms, letting the hips come forward and down, and then straightening through that left leg. If you feel you need a prop underneath the hips in any way, just go ahead and put it under so that you feel more stable. And then keeping that left hip walking down towards the mat, twist and peel open to the right. Inhaling, raising that right arm up. And then exhaling, bringing it to the lower back. You can even tuck your fingertips in your pants if that makes it feel more stable. And you can relax your head and neck, maybe even feeling a nice extension into the side of the neck there. If you wanted to target the back of the neck, you can just release the chin down to the chest. Just as long as you're feeling comfortable without tension. And then bring the right palm back down to the mat. Bring the left knee back. And then just come and take a seat with your legs facing the front of your mat. We're going to take a forward fold from here. So we're going to start getting into the posterior chain of the body. And you can extend both legs out in front of you and just relax the feet. You don't need any tense muscles in Yin Yoga. That's why I love to use props so much, because then the true benefit of Yin Yoga is going into the body. Okay, so let's straighten up through the spine for a moment, inhaling. And then exhale very slowly, fold forward in between the legs, over the thighs. It's okay to round your spine in Yin Yoga, just so long as you're not pushing or pulling yourself deeper, that you're completely relaxing. I like to support the forehead with props, but you can also just let gravity guide you. Just always tune in to see how you're feeling during and after practices. You want to allow yourself to sink into poses, so you're not going to your furthest range of motion right off the bat, but rather evolving into it over time. from where you are. Really take your time. Bring your palms down onto the mat and then use your arms and the strength of your arms to very slowly, like a slow moving river, lifting all the way back up. And then just take a moment right where you are. Okay. So bring them, your props, if you're using any, just off to the long edge of your mat. Bend through your knees. So you're gonna sit facing the long edge of your mat, bringing your legs out wide. And if you feel like you're rolling back, just prop yourself up on a pillow or a towel, folded blanket. And then I like to have the props. Just make sure you're comfortable through the legs. You can relax the feet. Let's begin with an inhale. And then exhale as you fold in between the legs, lowering down, either supporting your head or not. And if you, while you're sitting up, feel it into the legs here, just stay exactly where you are. Just find a meditative place inside your heart. very slowly, just like if you were walking through water in your pool. Press into the palms, using your arms to very slowly, even slower than you think you need to, lift all the way back up and straight. Maybe take a cleansing breath. And then take a moment just right where you are. If you're using props, just for now move them off to the side. You can use your arms, or your palms rather, to bend through the knees. And then bring your palms behind you, bend through your knees, and then just drop your knees a few times from side to side. Okay, let's lower onto our backs. So the last pose we'll do before Shavasana is an inversion. And you want to have a block, or you can even walk your mat over to a bit of wall that has some space in it, because we're going to go into waterfall. So if you have your block with your knees bent, feet on the floor, just press into the hips and then place the block at either the first or second height. And then just stay here a moment. And when you feel ready, just extend the legs up towards the sky. Or if you're by a wall, you can just do legs up the wall. Just adjust your position so it feels like your legs are floating, not like you're just trying to keep your legs up there through strain. See if there's a way that you can find a way just to relax into the legs as much as possible. Bend through your knees, bring your feet back down to the floor, and then press into the feet, lift your hips, and then move your prop off to the side. And just bring your feet to the outer edges of the mat for a moment and let the knees knock in together. Also, sorry if you could hear my stomach on that one. It's kind of embarrassing, but it does happen in Yin Yoga. And then extend one leg and then the other, taking up space. Bring your arms alongside the body, palms facing up for our final relaxation pose. Really allow yourself to get comfortable and still, letting a sense of ease just go all the way through your being. If you use an eye covering, you can put it on. And then take these last few minutes for you and your health and wellness and peace. begin to deepen your breath. And before we begin to get up, just exhale all the breath out and then inhale through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. And for a minute or so, just imagine that you're floating on the water. The water is nice and warm. And up above you, you have the infinite sky, a beautiful blue, shining away. And you can allow yourself as you float here to feel safe and secure. Nobody's going to bother you. Just let yourself float and relax. You are supported. Let's begin to wake up the toes and the hands, moving them around a little bit and stretching. And stretching all the way through your body, maybe raising the arms overhead. If you had an eye covering, gently remove it. Then roll over to one side. Then just hang out there for a moment, supporting your head with your arm. And then press all the way up to take a seat. Lift up tall through your spine. See how you feel right here in this silent, encompassing moment. The presence. Bring your palms together in front of your heart space. Let's close with a chant of Om. Let all the breath out and then inhale to chant. Om. You can blink your eyes open if they are closed. Thank you so much for practicing Yin Yoga today. If you enjoyed this class, please feel free to subscribe. I hope to see you next time on the mat. Thank you so much. Namaste.